Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second annual $10,000 Memorial Tournament, live from the UMG studio with myself, Burns, and Landon.
Yes, indeed. That was beautiful.
Thank
I actually
you.
had to record that one just to make sure we didn't have any...
I'm practicing stream. I'm so glad you guys have been with me.
Whoa, what is that reticle?
And
Is that glitched?
I think it's the...
I've never seen that before.
I'd call it the Black Death reticle. That's a good...
Is that like
What about the
black
plague?
spot? Like it just happens to be
yeah,
like his gun's
yeah.
cursed. It's not going to shoot straight.
I don't think
That
that's a
surely
glitch.
has to be a glitch because I'm pretty sure that's like the first like red dot that you unlock, or like the first reticle you unlock. I have no idea. I would actually rock that. Is that
never mind. We're not... I don't think that's a good... Oh, you know what? Cellium is rocking in. He's a stud.
Yeah, Cellium's insane. I got to bring up to everyone who's currently, of course, watching this matchup. We do have Lethal Gaming going up against UnderAgeProdigies, and we definitely have some incredibly talented players in this matchup, Burns. From the side of UnderAgeProdigies, we have iLLeY, Simp, Cellium, and TurnUp. And from the side of Lethal Gaming, we've got MuTeX, Ramby, TeddyRex, and MajorManiak. Both of these teams, who I've seen in a number of different finals.
Very talented players.
Very talented search and destroy players primarily, but these guys should be making this a very interesting one. I think Simp, heading into this series, tweeted out the match of the century. As whether it'll live up to the hype or not exactly sure, but definitely a very interesting one. Very high competitors when it comes down to this. As heading into this round number 2, iLLeY's already dropped 2, and TeddyRex with the PPSH on the other end has found 1 on his teammate TurnUp. As we'll see how the battle will continue at 3 versus 2 in favor of the side of UnderAgeProdigies.
I love how they're playing this. They're just so spaced out. Cellium perfectly comes up behind 1, and I think they're going to be able to close this 2 versus 1 situation out. iLLeY is about to meet his fate with Teddy right now. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Good shot, sir.
Good shot indeed. It's 2 rounds straight. Of course, as we talked about, when it comes down to St. Marie du Mans, we have to keep in mind the amount of pushes that are going to be going onto that B bomb site just because of how easy it is to kind of control that bomb site once you have taken it over. And just because there's only so many entryways you can make it from, whether it's spawn door or through that restaurant side. As long as you lock the angles down, it can be very difficult to, like I said, to try and retake. Not going to see the bomb site of a hit very often, but just as I say that, it looks like it is going to be UnderAgeProdigies making their way here, and it will be MajorManiak, most likely with the FG42 in the back lines. This guy I was watching the other day, Burns, on it was a 4v4 variant, and his team was just absolutely struggling. But he was going like double positive, like 38 and 14 on like Gridiron Flak Tower. And I think he was actually playing against Havoc Esports and was just having a field day. And this guy can get the slaying done, and that's something that you are very excited to see from the search and destroy aspect because this team isn't known for respawn. So to have this guy kind of doing the damage when it comes down to slaying is awesome to see.
I've heard great things about MajorManiak, mostly from free-for-all tournaments, I think.
Okay.
From Black Ops to, I know he's obviously well-known in the search community too,
Yeah.
but I believe he's won a vast amount of free-for-all tournaments through UMG, Game Battles, MLG, everybody. So it's interesting to see. That's why I pinged some interest to him because I'm a former, free-for-all champion.
You mean you're just kind of handing off the torch potentially?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No. I wish I could.
Well, you did win a Jeep.
Did
So
win a Jeep.
I'm not sure if MajorManiak has won a Jeep. So
That's very true.
definitely something to kind of keep in mind. But MajorManiak doing a great job of staying alive, has totally bamboozled Cellium, but only for the moment. To Simp will be there for the pickup. And here comes the plant. I believe this was a 2 versus 4 overall lineup or setup. Now Cellium's left all by himself, but can't do much more than that. Ramby will be there for the pickup, and I believe they should be giving the defuse here toward TeddyRex as getting closer towards some streaks. As I believe he will earn the Molotov after this one does go down. And, no, sorry, only 50 points away from the Molotov in that situation. But still, looking good as far as the utility aspect. Lethal Gaming finally getting one chalked up.
Yeah, Cellium was in a rough spot right there. I mean, with 2 players around him, even getting the bomb off, there not many places you could run to.
Definitely not. And so, looking on here, round number 4, offensive will be, of course, Lethal Gaming. Ramby Bambi. Heard about this guy quite a bit through the end of Infinite Warfare. And looks like Simp beginning to pull out the sniper rifle. This is usually his teammate TurnUp's role, but they do swap off on occasion. And this is a guy who I know we were talking about in the commercial break, kind of discussing when we heard that this matchup could be happening, Burns, was guys like Simp. This kid is just insane to watch, has a very high skill ceiling when it comes to him finally turning the age of 18, I believe currently 17, along with the rest of the UnderAgeProdigies group, but these guys, including Simp, they are ones to watch, and I think a lot of people were kind of considering them to be jetpackers. You know, can they really perform when it comes into boots on the ground? And so far in at least tournaments that I've been able to cast, it seems as if nothing has changed.
Did he not just see him? Did you see that or no? Because I'm pretty sure Simp just stared at Teddy Rex, and Teddy Rex got okay, Simp. He still won't have enough time to get the defuse off, so sucks, but it's a great shot. All right, this kid is a beast. You know, the round's over, but he's a beast. He's a beast. That's for sure.
Simp. We get it, pal.
You're
just showing off for us. That's crazy. Oh, my God. That's... Oh. I'm going to set the controller down. This is why I've never become a pro.
And we just got a ping from production. The winner of this matchup does play Optic Gaming.
Oh. That's going to be a struggle. But also should be a very interesting one to watch. Whether either of these teams faces off against the side of OG, it should be a competitive match, just because of the fact that we have already seen squads like Team Envious fall to a more search and destroy prone roster. And I believe the best team in the tournament, Courage, is roster, is currently facing off against Tupac, Thuglord, and co. So that's probably not going to be an easy matchup either.
All the search stars are meeting up with
against the best pro teams in the world.
Their variant threats. Yeah. Is this Optic's first time playing against a natural search and destroy team in World War II?
It could be, actually. I'm not 100% sure. We could try to get a confirmation on that one in a bit, but still, yeah, it definitely could be possible. As, of course, Optic, known for winning the last 2K. I believe they went, like, what, 27-1 in map count, I believe was the overall number that I ended up hearing. But looking on, nice consistent shots there coming in from Cellium. As I know we've kind of talked about countless players when it comes down to the UnderAgeProdigies lineup. I know you were talking to me about Cellium.
Yeah.
You're playing against him back in Black Ops 3.
He's a god. I don't know what to say. There's few people who can compete with me on my host, and even off host he was doing good against me, so he must be good.
Definitely. Strong competitor. But one guy that can definitely get this round done will be MajorManiak. FG42 in hand, and you're in a difficult site to retake, but spots one, spots the second. Cellium does a great job at getting behind that bomb, using it as cover. And now there's really only two different entryways that they have to be looking at. It is that one coming from restaurant and the one coming from the flank. As Cellium just happens to turn around at the, I don't want to say the worst time possible, but definitely not conventional timing. As Maniac will go for the challenge, most likely playing for streaks at this point, as he will not secure the round for lethal, but most likely will keep his overall streak up, as it will be the set of UnderAgeProdigies who now takes the lead here, Burns, 3 rounds to 2.
And something I should know, but the opposing team that plants does get 100 points.
Yes.
Correct? Still. So he did give up 100 points if that person was still alive.
We'll see if the transaction...
That was Cellium, so yeah, he got that off.
So it looks like, yeah, in that case, Cellium has earned the Molotov in that particular spot. Keeping in mind, Simp, by the way, is 8-2. And it's only round 6, so...
You might be getting our sniper shot right here.
Looking on, MuTeX shutting down iLLeY for the first blood.
Is he using a variant scope or just a normal one?
I believe that's a normal scope.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
The default.
I'm a huge fan of the variant scope. I just feel it helps, you know, differentiate what position you're in, and if you need a, you know, short-term or long-term scope. So.
But it looks like Ramby back around right now is lethal toward this B bomb site. Teddy Rex has, of course, kind of secured things, letting the roster know this one works. TurnUp not checking the corner. That's just rather unfortunate play, as it will be Simp. Of course, the one man who could clutch this round out based off his play up to this point. You do not want to get in front of his sniper rifle, but it will be Lethal Gaming who does test their wits and will secure that as back and forth we go. And, of course, Teddy Rex, known for his search and destroy play ever since really even coming into Black Ops 3, has been one of the major and kind of one of the first guys to want to introduce themselves to the Respawn game. Of course, finding an organization in Lethal Gaming, it did this team find, and I'm really excited to see this group especially play when it comes down to CWL tournaments. No, for sure. I think they have a ton of potential. It's just seeing really how they transition, and it's almost like finding scrims too. Do you think a lot of these variant teams are going to open up their practice schedule to a search and destroy all-star team? I really don't see that happening. And that could be a struggle for some of these teams trying to get better at variant. But, you know, you got 2 search and destroys out of a best of 5. I mean, all you have to do is pull 1 respawn out, and you're looking really good. Just like in the 2K when we played E6, we unfortunately choked both hard points in. You can't really expect to
beat a team twice that came from Search and Destroy. I mean, you can, but the odds of it are just so unlikely because that's their stronger suit.
And I think in a perfect world, it would be awesome for pro teams to kind of obviously scrim more talented teams when it comes into Search and Destroy. Granted, I think that egos kind of get in play. I know the kind of keyboarding aspect kind of gets put in place for a lot of the S&D players, so it's kind of like a thing. Like I feel like there's a lot of negatives that when you think of Search and Destroy players that kind of come along, like titles that kind of come along with them, that kind of halts pros from like not really wanting to scrim up against them. But I think honestly, it does great for strategy. I think it does overall great for your mentality moving forward in different matches because you can learn a lot from these S&D kids. I mean, there's a reason why they play in tournaments, and obviously a lot of the time
not only
take
play,
out pro teams,
but win.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, honestly, the first pro team that wins to kind of do that is going to have a huge advantage.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you really quick. I know from a pro's point of view, different pros have obviously different answers to, of course, questions. But when it comes into Search and Destroy, S&D stars, rather, what's your opinion on kind of that level of how do I say this exactly? Because I want to ask it correctly. When it comes into like a pro player's mentality, when you hear about like Search and Destroy stars and you face off against them in tournaments, what's the mentality kind of coming into that game? Is it a full-on respect, or is it just kind of like a title that's like, oh, well, this guy's just known for playing online? Like what kind of comes into like a matchup when where like, for example, whoever obviously wins this game is gonna be facing off against Optic. What's Optic's mentality coming into like a matchup like this from a pro's point of view?
They're taking it 100% serious. I mean, they know what these players bring to the table, and obviously, if you're playing them in a variant tournament, I think a lot of pro teams will take them lightly. They shouldn't, but I just know how a lot of pros are in the community. In terms of Search and Destroy, though, they're 100%, gonna give their best to secure the win. I don't really see a scenario where they're not trying against them next round.
Yeah. Definitely. So, of course.
There's a lot of pride on the line, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't want to lose it to Search kids.
I think, if we were to ask maybe, beginning of Black Ops 3, tournaments like this, a lot of pride would have been lost. I meant that for variant,
by the way, not Search kids in a Search. It's like, oh, this guy's listening. It's like,
no, I know what you mean, yeah. But I know whenever it kind of comes down to like that issue of pride, like a lot of pro teams can hold on to being good at Search and Destroy. I know throughout kind of the Black Ops 3 Infinite Warfare season, it was a lot of the S&D stars kind of beefing on Twitter back and forth with JCap, kind of being like, hey man, like we can compete when it comes down to this, and JCap's like, you guys
can't.
You guys can't handle us when it comes to variant, let alone Search and Destroy too. So it's kind of been an interesting fight necessarily, and kind of like these online battles that we've been able to witness between teams such as these two groups, versus the higher competitive teams. And honestly, just watching a lot of the time the Search and Destroy guys destroy, and like watching them just play well. And I think that just comes down to the overall strategy. And I have to really give it a lot of credit. Usually the top Search and Destroy players play like high-level pros, and there's a reason for that. I mean, there's been times so far throughout tournaments that I was able to watch this exact lineup for the UnderAgeProdigies play in, and they're just making veteran plays. Like they're just making, and they're just fully aware of where each other are on the map. Like their map placement is fantastic, and like watching cuts for each other, it's honestly just like watching a pro team when it comes to Search and Destroy. And
I actually think in terms of Search, they bring something different to the table than what normal pros do.
Yeah.
I agree with JCap in terms of, you put like a variant team against a Search and Destroy team in a variant environment, you're going to win that.
Right.
But I just feel like they play the game differently, and I feel like that's what throws a lot of pros off in these tournaments, is just how aggressive, how unique they play, how often they change their strats.
Right.
I just feel like they play really out of the box, and that's why this transition from Search and Destroy to variant is going to be useful to maybe teams like E6 and who else picked up a Search team. E6 is really the only people I can think it because it's Decimate and the other
and Bevels, yeah.
So I mean, they might gain a lot of Search knowledge that they didn't really share with that General might not even know about in the past. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Definitely, of course, being introduced more to the pro scene is iLLeY, finding two, both with that PPSH, as I believe it was Lethal Gaming, who of course gets the bomb down. MuTeX fully aware that the defuse is coming in, however, Simp should be good, and yes, this defuse will come in as MuTeX will drop. It was a decent strategy for the side of Lethal Gaming. They tossed that smoke through middle just to try to bait off the side of UnderAgeProdigies. However, high risk, high reward, and the reward does not pay off.
If
as it will be UnderAgeProdigies who
could have handed it to Nameless.
To Nameless.
Nameless would have hit that.
The Molotov,
it's going to be a name. If I ever cast with you again, it's going to be Nameless.
Oh, you definitely will. You're definitely going to cast
sure.
me again.
Oh, nice.
That's happening. I'm not allowing it not to happen.
Nice.
So just keeping that in mind. But of course, final scorecard there you see Simp 11-4, iLLeY 10-7. Definitely your major performers rather after map number 1. Of course, map number 2 will be London Dock Search and Destroy. Very curious to see how Lethal Gaming does respond when it comes down to this. I believe I have seen Teddy Rex and Co. play on this map, and I believe they played a lot better than a prior Search and Destroy. So I think coming into this one, this is a map where they feel more confident on. Got to keep in mind the snipers. We obviously saw Simp pull it out. Fully be expecting TurnUp as well to rock that one. I know you were talking to me about London Dock Search and Destroy. That was one that you guys faced off against E6 in the last 2K. Definitely. And Dashy was definitely doing some damage. There are some spots with that sniper rifle.
Every round he was getting some type of pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the kid's good, but there's definitely some snipers that are outshining others on that map specifically. I just think it's because it gives you a clear opening. You have like one brief second, and if you're able to pull those initial kills off, you're able to gain a first bullet advantage, and you just move on from the round. It's so much easier when not only are you getting information, but you're picking up the first bullet with the sniper. Gentlemen, welcome back to the second annual $10,000 Memorial Tournament brought to you by UMG Studios. You are in the presence of Burns and Landon.
The presence, huh?
Doing a great job. I'm slowly getting more comfortable and better at this every single time I do it.
You're doing fantastic.
Thanks, man.
I'm really enjoying this. This is delightful.
And then when it comes to the play-by-play, I'm like, hey, Simp just went. Hey, he's about to snipe somebody. Oh, that is great. Good job. Keep it up.
Good job, Simp. Nice work. It's kind of like you're like a teammate for him. You're like, oh, wow, you really should have done this. Oh!
Wow. We just got, I mean, it's just nonstop quick scopes, no scopes, whatever you want to call it. You know, I was telling you this before. I really respect what you all do as casters. I mean, these are long work days. You guys are constantly casting, nonstop events. You have to do information, all that good stuff. I did a few analyst work for me. Oh, I can't even finish my sentences because of these snipes right now.
No, TurnUp's making us kind of stutter.
All right, long story short, analyst work is a lot easier, in my opinion, than doing play-by-play casting. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
I think it's kind of like...
Or you think it's like preference?
Well, I think it's kind of hard to compare because there's a lot more like preparation for an analyst point of view.
Sure.
And so it makes your job easier at the end. But it's like for a play-by-play guy, you have to like know a little bit.
I feel like you just have to come off more off the top of your head if that makes sense. And that's where
it's like different levels of study.
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
But but I feel like the analyst is kind of like you already know all the information. It's just
You're just
about
recapping it.
Yeah. And for the play-by-play, it's like learning the information and then saying it. So
these people are throwing their grenades in the air, making sure they don't bounce back because of what we saw earlier from
the Naganade.
The Naganade.
Coming back to haunt him. Rather unfortunate. But still, looking on nades will affect iLLeY. It seems like, of course, Teddy Rex finding the first blood in this round number 2. As watching the flank, of course, underground is still a thing. As I believe like a lot of teams don't actually realize that's the case. But TurnUp still dominating with that sniper rifle. But on the other end, it's MuTeX who's there for the pickup, a.k.a. Danny Moo.
I was just about to ask you who that was. All these kids are changing their names on us, and it's really confusing. Not going to lie.
It's definitely kind of fun to watch like other casters who aren't like super familiar with the gamer tag, just because I get to see them like a few times every week. It's just kind of funny to see like their actions. Like, okay, who's the daddy guy? Who's the Moo kid?
Who's the new guy on the block?
But yeah, of course, 1 versus 1 right now. Simp versus MuTeX, aka and Simp has yet to grab the bomb. Of course, only 20 seconds left. Most likely going to have to go for it. And here comes the challenge. You can actually fire through that, for those who didn't know, on either side of...
something new every day over here.
Yeah, through either side of those buildings, you can actually fire through, and it kind of works out for someone who's camping in that corner. But still looking on, 8 seconds left. And MuTeX going to check on the bomb just to see if he can stop the person on the plant. Realizes no one's there, and Simp has to go for the races. Can he find him? MuTeX happens just to get inside that building just in the nick of time. And due to not firing a bullet, it will equal out to a round, as we're now level at 1.
Lethal Gaming.
They do it. That was a smart play. Like I said, that was a very smart play coming in from MuTeX. Like, not that the initial idea is to challenge that, but just like any normal player's mind, it's like, wow, I really want to find this guy. Like, I want to win this 1 versus 1. And a lot of that kind of like pub mentality can come into play whenever you're even in high level pro matches, just because you're not really expecting. It's kind of like in everyone's mind, it's very difficult, I think, for pros alike to not want to, or to kind of really want to constantly challenge fights. But it's a very interesting notice to kind of realize those guys who are willing to play passively. Like I think
Definitely.
Proto is a really good example, of course, from the Canada lineup. It's just because of his passive play. Like he doesn't mind if he doesn't find a kill and search and destroy. As long as his team's winning, that's totally fine. And I think that makes a major difference between a lot of guys who like to play that support role is by kind of playing passively and allowing the kills to come to them rather than seeking out every fight that they can find.
I agree with you. There's a lot of players that kind of value the win over looking good on a scoreboard, like Proto, like Sensor. I mean, even our Preston, or my Preston. You're part of the United gang now. I'm sorry. I'm converting you. But yeah.
I do have a Pristini jersey. That's true.
All right. You know what?
I'm a big fan of Pristini.
You're part of the squad.
Am I?
Right, yeah,
officially? EU Lando?
Yep, EU Lando.
Wow.
I was going to say,
day.
I have not really seen Underground being utilized that much on this map. Have you? I haven't seen any
I really
four-man
haven't, no.
pushes or anything like that. I really feel like it would throw a team off if we did see something like that, but we haven't.
Yeah, I have been seeing Underground be used on occasion, but not really to the point
Besides
where...
Proto.
Besides
we saw
Proto
in that 1v1. He played that really good today.
Besides that, it really hasn't been too much of a focus, I feel like, for a lot of teams. Like, more than you kind of thought it would be. I know some maps in the past that had like Underground pushes and whatnot were like very influential and like kind of map breaking, but on this it just seems like it's not really a primary focus. I think a lot of teams are kind of already aware of it, so it's like kind of in the back of the minds. Everyone's like, you know what, we're just not even going to worry about that part of the map. So
I love the smoke additions from UnderAgeProdigies. I feel, after the first Blood Sniper that Lethal Gaming got, they're kind of changing it up and making sure they can get easy bomb plants off, and it's a good touch for them.
Definitely, of course. Round number 4 underway. Maniac, great placement there, of course, going for the prone shots. Is able to find one and happens to just get shot in the side of the head. Cellium finding that kill, and now Ramby left in a 1-on-2. Bomb is down, and we'll see how he tries to retake this, especially with having to go for the defuse. Spots down one, but where's Cellium at? And Cellium is playing this one passively. Smart play from him. Just has to check the bomb. Coming around the corner, but Ramby's able to find him.
He has enough time. He got it.
And I believe he got the defuse. There is a little bit of a delay, but I believe he is good to go as Ramby retakes the site. The 1 versus 2, and does he get it? Yes, just in the nick of time as a huge play there coming in from Ramby as we're now level at 2. And I also just looked at the Twitch chat there for a second, Burns. Massive shout out to Jack, a.k.a. Courage Dunlop. He has, in fact, rated us here on the UMG Events channel. And we got to say a massive thank you to Jack.
Oh,
I believe, did his team just lose? Or maybe he's still going?
I expected them to take this tournament.
He actually finished top 16 in the tournament.
That's impressive.
Shout out to Jack. Appreciate the support, Jack. But,
thank you, Jack.
Good stuff overall in the tournament, pal.
Feel free to critique my my first time casting.
Oh
skills,
yeah,
so.
I can maybe write some notes down for you. If I could speak, that'd be great.
my Let's Go E United notes have grown to Let's Go E United plus Jack's crew. So
yeah, we watched them play a little bit earlier, and Courage was playing
was
pretty well. Benson as
yeah.
well, and not that Impulse and Paradise were carrying, but they were
they were definitely looking good on that team. That's for sure. I was, like I said before, I was talking to Benson, and those two definitely have really good shots. And
yeah, for sure.
Hopefully, can make an impact on the scene on some up and coming team.
Absolutely. As it currently will be Cellium in a 1 versus 2, shuts down MajorManiak, and now just has MuTeX left to try and finish off. Keeping in mind, he does have streaks, and in this situation, I mean, is it a smart play for him to maybe try to use this just because technically the bomb isn't in his hands, he doesn't know where he's at? Is a streak a smart call here to use maybe?
All I'm thinking about is COD timing right now. Yeah. These guys have just passed each other, and Daddy MuTeX gets taken out. Cellium, he's just picking up the quick, easy kill. That machine pistol, do you think it's going to get nerfed or no?
Like,
I really feel like it's another submachine gun.
It really is, but at the same time, it's like, then secondaries are useless.
True.
Not useless necessarily, but like
usually secondaries are for picking up like 1 kill or finishing somebody off that's hurt.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's just it worries me because it's like, well, okay, so here comes a pistol nerf, and it's like, then we don't really have a secondary. But I totally understand the point of like, well, secondaries aren't meant to be used as like guns that you constantly get kills from. So
yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to it.
Yeah, I would definitely be more in favor of it than not. I think it's fair to say. But as the streaks start to come down, I believe only information is gained, no kills rather.
That looked like it landed in middle with.
Yeah, not exactly sure the placement
by that one.
But maybe it looks like player 1 and 3, Teddy Rex and MuTeX were both kind of by that opposite end there over by Doc. So maybe we're kind of able to get inside of cover, but regardless, it looks like it is Cellium finding 2 big kills before being dropped. This will make the man count be in his team's advantage by +1. As Ramby and TeddyRex look to try and retake the site, both from different angles. As it looks like TurnUp shuts down one, and Ramby will shut down the other.
It's, I don't know if we should be calling that the Goonjar spot, but I don't think I've seen one person win that gunfight from closet against someone who's just laying down right there. They just get shredded every single time. Maybe they might learn. Might go through the actual bomb site. Bait and switch, maybe?
I think it's like a difficult call because you're thinking rotating over to this site that maybe like, hey, like the B bomb site is, or excuse me, the A is kind of like the more preferred of the two. So maybe you're not really thinking that someone could be there because a lot of the focus is over toward the opposite one. But I don't know. It's just kind of like, for our perspective, it's obviously really easy because like clearly there's a guy there. But at the same time, it's almost like, well, like, why would someone be sitting there? Like, are you like? It's almost like kind of a waste, like in every round except for that time that someone makes a push there.
I feel the reason why they are losing that gunfight at the time is because they're coming around the corner cautiously, and it's making their shoulder and arm visible for just a half a second before they can even react to a guy laying down and shooting him. But yeah, we got a nice wall bang here from Ramby Bambi, and the young gods are looking to close this up here pretty soon.
Indeed. Of course, 3 rounds to 4, a.k.a. the Axis being UnderAgeProdigies. Of course, for those who are just joining us, it was UnderAgeProdigies who took map #1 on Sainte Marie du Mans. They won that one in round 10.
I love the French touch.
I got to say it every time. I just got to keep going for it and trying to improve. But MajorManiak trying to, of course, help his team secure this round. And TeddyRex just trying to be aware that if you do fall in the ocean, you unfortunately don't swim. This is not ocean warfare yet.
That was a nice little jump spot. I'm not sure if you can jump all the way down below if you have to take the ladder, but you notice that he got on top of those 2 bricks to get a quick little jump. Not sure if the stream caught that or not. This guy, he was putting in some work in the beginning. The first 2 rounds, he was getting some really nice picks off. If he's able to continue that up, I definitely can see the young prodigies taking a nice little bump into the next round.
Ooh, checking the corner. TeddyRex is there. Immediately goes for the dolphin dive.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, he's dipping out. The dolphin dive nearly into the water. Would have been fitting, however. Simp 1 versus 2. I don't believe his position was spotted there from TeddyRex. So still has the element of surprise. And it looks like he's about to get surprised. Good overall angle held there from Ramby. As it will be back and forth we go. After 8 rounds of play, we're level at 4. And this one gets closer and closer. Of course, 2 rounds needed for Lethal Gaming to force the map 3, and 2 rounds needed for UnderAgeProdigies to lock this one out in just 2 maps, excuse me.
How do you think this is going to play out? I really think I feel like young prodigies is going to be able to take this, in my opinion. Teddy's kind of having a slow game. TurnUp's been really on point with the sniper, and obviously Cellium and Simp have been on point with everything else. But Cellium gets taken out by Daddy Moo. Nice nade spots. I feel like either a sniper first blood or a grenade first blood has happened. Oh, that would have been a nice shot. But yeah, it really just feels like a sniper or nade has been the first blood material of this series so far, on this map at least.
And I think for UnderAgeProdigies to kind of take this map, I really think they need to kind of be avoiding making sure that they're being taken for that first blood. A nade like that, you really can't afford it as far as like this point in the tournament. But TeddyRex, I believe, tries to hop off the bomb. This one is not planted yet, so TurnUp does a great job at stopping that one from happening. MuTeX realizing that, hey, someone has to plant this. And so here comes the challenge. It looks like it will be TurnUp who falls after going for what could have been another sniper shot. 2 versus 1 now as Ramby shuts down 1 from the back. And now it's Simp. Left in a 1 versus 2, goes for the challenge. The FG42 in hand, definitely not a weapon that is prone to this young man, but have to go for the challenge on the head glitch, and MajorManiak will make him play the nice strafe, and is now giving Lethal Gaming the 5-round to 4 advantage.
Yeah, I really like how MajorManiak just backed up what his teammate played from middle, and he put himself at a really advantage head glitch. There's really nothing Simp could do there. I mean, regardless if he had a bazooka, I mean, he's going to lose that.
Indeed. So looking on here, Ramby definitely having a strong performance when we take a look at that top right scorecard. 11-5 for him. TeddyRex definitely struggling at the moment. Currently quadruple negative. But Mewing, obviously, a strong performance when it comes in around 10. Cellium and Co. making their way toward this B bomb site. Is it looking to be a first blood there for MuTeX, taking out Simp, and this is what I was talking about. For UnderAgeProdigies, the reason why they've lost these last few rounds is because they've been getting first blooded, and that's obviously going to be a major problem when you're on offense trying to already retake a site with being down a man count.
And iLLeY just tied things up. We're at 3-3.
And iLLeY doing a great job with that SMG in close range.
Have you heard of iLLeY before, by the way?
Yes.
You have?
Have.
Okay.
Have you not?
I have not.
Really? Okay. No worries there.
Do you know when he started?
I've heard of him toward the beginning of Infinite Warfare. He's known for being like a super young search and destroy player. I think he was like 14 or 15 throughout like Infinite Warfare, and was like playing like very, very well for like a number of different teams. And he's kind of like, I believe, grown like his stream game as well. This is kind of known as like a guy who's going to be the future. Like after like Simp and Co. have kind of like taken over. It's like this is like the younger.
So he's the baby.
Yeah, kind of like the baby of the group, to say the least. But
going around 11.
Yep, going around 11. Talking about iLLeY, he will be able to pick up quite a few kills in that round, and I believe I was told that iLLeY as well, also a very high earner on the website. I believe top 5 overall in UMG Online history. That's
His
crazy.
parents must be proud. That's a lot of money coming in.
If my 14, 15-year-old is making money like that, you know what? Call of Duty Professional. I mean, hey,
my
whatever,
my parents did not start supporting me until I brought home my first check. So.
Oh, really? Is that so?
Yeah.
When you brought home the Jeep and then sold it off, were they mad at you?
No, they weren't.
They weren't? Okay. You're just like, hey, guys, got a new car. And it's like, not for long, though. I'm going to take this one back.
It took me quite some time to persuade my dad that I could make a living from it. And even though it wasn't a living at the time, he at least saw that I was trying to earn money. And
yeah.
It was a struggle. But
I feel like we're learning a lot about each other today.
Yeah, we are.
I've enjoyed this. The duo obviously has to learn a lot. But
looking like young prodigies might take this one. They got 2 quick kills.
Big kills, and I believe TurnUp, rocking the FTG.
And that's all she wrote.
Finds the first few, and just like that, what seemed like a potential comeback from Lethal Gaming, in fact, comes into 2 straight rounds earned from the side of UnderAgeProdigies, as they will advance here in our tournament, winning this one in overtime, 6 rounds to 5 and 2-0 overall in this series. As we're now going to have UnderAgeProdigies going up against Optic Gaming. That one,
be a really good match.
Should be an awesome match to watch.